All right, Hero Comics. Next episode of Hero Comics: Transgender Hate Mail, Homosexual Hate Mail, Atheist Hate Mail. Basically, me reacting with the screen caps on YouTube and DeviantArt of comments that are responsive comments I made against these deviant lifestyles and a few other things. Trigger warning: if you don't like what I'm saying, go ahead, click off the video, and go watch something else. What is that bag? It's a bag. Watch something else. There's no hate streets in my videos because there is no hate streets in my videos. It's beach hate. That's a different story. Let's continue on people getting things wrong in the comment sections and me trying to with Bible verses and Bible verses and basic biology, and they're getting ticked off about that. Also, it's good to get vaccinated so you can help spread the germs. I got vaccinated for COVID a while ago. That helped me be stronger against COVID. I got vaccinated for the flu a while ago. That helped me get stronger against flu. And all right, basically, I'm going to talk about some other stuff too. Basically, after a day of helping my mom and my sister with, and my niece, my niece, she helped a little bit, helped them to clear away. We were checking out stuff in the backyard. Okay, apparently, yeah, after the tree, I don't know if I told anybody this, but it was the issue. Yeah, I think I did. I think I said so. The tree that is in our backyard that we, basically bought. We were buying this house, right? And we basically, it was in our price range. We're basically one of the only ones in the price range, so we were able to buy it. We were able to start buying it, and we basically inherited a 100-year-old tree. Okay, big old 100-year-old tree. The neighbor that used to live next door, he basically goes like, yeah, he was like, old man, he's like, I used to climb that thing when I was a kid, I was like, okay, big old tree. So yeah, it was a very important tree. Problem is, it started rotting, started dropping branches. And the first time it dropped a branch on the what's the name? Neighbor's house, neighbor's garage. They were like, hey, it was like an arm-sized one. It was an arm with like the girth of my arm. So they were like, hey, man, we don't want any of those dredges getting on our garage, falling on our garage anymore. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. I rolled my eyes. I was assuming it was just little tiny branches. But then one dropped the girth of my body, smashed through the roof of their garage. So yeah, that was not fun. That was not fun. Another one drops later and is smashed through the chain link fence on the other side of our house. So we got to know the neighbors who now live at the place where the old man used to live, and the neighbors whose garage got smashed, and the neighbors who beside the garage that got smashed, they got their gutter ripped off. By that thing. They're gone. They've moved out. They're gone, which is sad, but that's how it was. It's like, yeah, so many different things happened because of that, that tree. Also, it crushed our greenhouse. We had this nice, cheap greenhouse from Amazon. Cost like $100-something. Very nice. Cheap aluminum stuff, aluminum and plastic with a nice tarp going over it. It was nice, and it was a nice little greenhouse, and it crushed that. That branch crushed one of the branches, crushed that. So yeah, they got the tree guys out. We paid several $1,000s for that. My brothers and my mother saved up several $1,000s for that stuff. And that was great. We got it, but when they got half done, they were like, "Yeah, we need more money now for some reason." And I'm like, "What?" And bro's like, "We don't have any more money." It's like, "Okay, we'll come back when there's more money." So they left. So been a few months. Hopefully, we're saving up. I think hopefully we're saving up. I don't know if we are, but whatever the case is, there's still a branch hanging out, but it's not the worst place. It's over our garage at least. So if it falls, it damages our garage. So there you go. That's the only branch left on that tree. But yeah, it's still some crazy stuff. Yeah. But anyway, that's annoying. But the cool thing is today, what we did was, me and my mom and my sister, we worked to check out things in our backyard, and we found out that we have some raspberry plants in our backyard. Probably from the previous 10 minutes, who knows. So we're going to cultivate them, and we actually pulled the weeds out, and trimmed and pulled weeds around from around them, so that they'd have more opportunity to grow. Okay. I also was able to move the fallen branches. What was left from the tree guys chopped, cut down, cut the branches off the tree, move those things over a bit so we would have more room, and then weed whacked so there would be more room to basically, put what mom wants to put out there in the backyard. She wants two more greenhouses. I was actually able to make a greenhouse or makeshift greenhouse using the tarp of the original greenhouse, and ironically, the some of the branches from that tree that crushed it. I was able to take those, use nylon rope, tie them to this old rickety table. To make a root, basically a structure for it. Put the old greenhouse tarp on top of that. So it's not the best thing ever, but it at least works. It could zip up. The greenhouse had a door that you can zip, closed, and the plants can hang out in there and feel like they're warmer, and there's still the sun can get in and stuff. So yeah, the table, little table, rickety old table has wheels on it, so it can basically hang out in there. So yeah, it's a table. So yeah, we put plants on top, put plants underneath. We have stuff we put plants underneath that table, put plants on top of the table. It's like a table that has another layer on top underneath it of at least structure. So it's like wooden. A wooden structure underneath it, so it's like framing, basically. So we can basically, if you put potted plants into a larger container, all right, like a nice long container like that, a little longer. You put potted plants, like 3 of them in there. You can slide that underneath, So we have like one of those. We have something that's two levels. We have 2 of these plastic 2-level planter things, where it's like. You see a lower level that's bigger. Okay, it's like a bigger one. See, I have cardboard. I can use that. Lower level one that's like bigger. Okay, it's like 2 of these. 2 of these pieces of cardboard. All right, 2 of those hanging out like that. But then you have one that's on top of there that's like one of these. So you have 2 of these on each side of that long trough one. Yeah, that's a different project there. Yeah, use that. This is a bad track about Donald Trump being the Antichrist. He's not. He has issues, but he's not. But this guy is a sensationalist. Whoever gave us this thing was a sensationalist. Saying Donald Trump and Elon Musk are biblically bad. I'm like, I don't know. They have issues, but they're not that bad. No, they're not. They're not the Antichrist. Not the beast, the Antichrist. All right, we're still looking for those guys. So yeah, those are them. But anyway. So we have the 2 of those plastic guys underneath on the framework of this little rickety old table, and then on top of the actual table, we put the little seedling planter, little seedling. I'd say they're like the size of the hole here, yeah, the size of the hole on this, or like this, the size of the hole, they're like the planters are this big or a little bit bigger, a little taller. Okay. So it's like that. All right. So we got like this kind of thing here. And we basically put 3, bunches of these on the table with the little seedlings coming out of them. All right. So yeah, in the greenhouse. My mom wants to get 2 more greenhouses like the ones we had. They got crushed by the branch. And she wants to get some basins, like nice big, huge aluminum basins. To put dirt, potting soil in, to put more plants in. So, yeah, bigger plants in. So, yeah, I cleared out a good bit of space in my backyard. Not the biggest backyard ever, but there's definitely room right now. I used my weed whacker. I was able to do that. So yeah, weed whacker. I was able to move things over a bit, move the branches that fell from the tree over enough, close enough to the tree, so there's more space. And apparently we have some volunteer stuff growing in hydroponics. What happened was my mom bought 2 of these big old hydroponic, kind of as seen on TV planter things. So you have basically. These big old black basins, I'd say medium-sized black basins, all right? Medium-sized black totes, all right? With, some sort of, I'd say lattice, what they call, plastic lattice thing underneath, okay? There's like over a layer, basically it's like it's set, there's like a few inches of space, then there's like a plastic with holes in it, a plastic sheeting with holes in it over that little bit of space, and then there's like a tube, there's like a plastic tube that goes in through that stuff to the bottom, okay? And they basically said put dirt over that, then put the tarp. There's like these black stuff, black mesh. I don't know what mesh, but this black plastic fibery, fiber stuff around, on top of the thing. Poke holes in that to plant, and put soil on top of it underneath. Poke holes in that. We're gonna go a little overboard. Poke holes in that to then put the plants in. Put the plant in there. Okay, the plant's in there, and then basically you have soil and the plant, and then the roots will go down deep to where there's the space, the inch space. All right, basically you pour water into that pipe that's in there, and that water will go in there, and the roots will find that water, and they'll take that, and basically you're supposed to pour water through that, and that'll help water everything. It kind of worked. We got two of these things. They kind of worked, but eventually they failed. We had like collard greens and other stuff and spinach and stuff inside there. They eventually died, but now there's volunteer weed plants growing in those, and my old Aubun Pain white clear tote. With clear food tote with basically got crushed, smashed by the branch, but it has dirt in it, so we got the volunteer stuff in there too. So there's some stuff going on in our backyard. We're working on that. I'm gonna fix that up real nice. So that's why I was doing, basically this today. So this episode of Earliest Decade 2, talking about what I was doing, catching up, an update video, I guess. So see you guys next time. Check me out on YouTube and DeviantArt.